50 Cent just roped Jennifer Lopez into Diddy's case, accusing her of allegedly having freak-offs with minors at Diddy's parties, and he brought some solid proof to back up his words. You all know that 50 Cent does not play when it comes to taking Diddy down, and this time he is also coming for Diddy's associates, including J.Lo. For a long time, we thought that J.Lo's only involvement with Diddy was that 1995 shooting that set up Shine to take the fall, but it looks like she may have continued to take part in Diddy shenanigans long after they broke up. Get this, 50 Cent is also claiming that Ben Affleck knew about it. This is why he chose to leave J.Lo before everything came crashing down. But what exactly did Ben know about J.Lo's activities? And was Diddy really blackmailing J.Lo with the footage of her and the young boys? Well, at 50 Cent Tell It, he has all the answers, and y'all won't believe the things he has to say now. If there's one person that we all know has had a history with Diddy, it's J.Lo. She and Diddy dated in the late 90s, and there have been many speculations about how she was Diddy's right-hand woman and knew more than she was letting on. It was kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde situation, and she was definitely the Bonnie of his Clyde, if you know what I mean. But for some reason, the true nature of the extent of her relationship with Diddy has always been kept securely under wraps. Sure, we knew that she and Diddy dated, but the streets have always talked about how there was more to the story than we knew, and how she's always had something to hide, especially with that 1999 shooting. So picture this: Diddy and J.Lo were out in a club in Times Square celebrating the soon-to-drop album of Shine, Diddy's 21-year-old protege, who was still pre-new to the game just like J.Lo at the time. But when they were leaving the club, Diddy, with a champagne bottle in his hand, accidentally bumped into a guy named Matthew Allen, better known as Scar in the streets. Scar wasn't having it and pushed Diddy, and things popped off from there. Scar didn't take too kindly to this act of dental bump and pushed Diddy, and things started popping off from there. Then one of Scar's crew members, Diddy, decides to throw a stack of money in Diddy's face like confetti. Next thing you know, Diddy pulls out his shots are fired. The chaos left 3 people, and including Natana Ruin, who was reportedly in the face by Diddy. Meanwhile, Diddy and J.Lo didn't stick around. As soon as the shots rang out, they dipped, hopping into a Lincoln Navigator with the gun stashed in the trunk. Now, here's the kicker: they weren't even caught for the shooting. At first, they got pulled over because they ran a red light while trying to make a getaway. Talk about sloppy. At the station, Diddy and J.Lo got their mug shots taken, and J.Lo was reportedly a home ass, crying all over the place. She was handcuffed to a pole at one point, and her mom showed up yelling at her in Spanish like, "I told you to stay away from that man." Y'all, even her mama knew that Diddy was bad news and that he would take J.Lo down with him and be a negative influence on her. And y'all, she was definitely right about it. And get this, J.Lo allowed Diddy and his lawyers to use her name to get him out of his gun charges from the incident. According to reports, one of the lawyers said, "I don't know if you know this, judge, but this person, Jennifer Lopez, is a very famous actress. To think Min0r comes is walking around with her with the loading. It's so ridiculous that it stretches the imagination." But for whatever reason, the defense worked and Diddy got acquitted of all the charges. And as it turned out, J.Lo's part in the shooting went deeper than her letting him use her name to get off the charges, because in L3aks' lawsuit, he claimed that Diddy told him that J.Lo was the one who carried the gun in the club in the first place, and that she was the one who gave him the when he got into the altercation with Scar and told him to start. Y'all, what L3aks' lawsuit said: he shared the artist and Mr. Cole's girlfriend at the time, Jennifer Lopez, aka J.Lo, carried into the club for him and pass him the after he got into a nation with another individual. Yeah, it looks like J.Lo was in deep Bonniehood with Diddy, because she also admitted in an interview that even though Diddy cheated on her while they were together, she was still crazy about him and would do anything for him. She said, "It was the first time I was with someone who wasn't faithful. I was in the relationship with Puff where I was completely lost in tears and becoming insane. I truly thought I had lost all control of my life." However, 50 Cent said that J.Lo was insane enough to do anything he wanted, including apparently engaging in these bizarre encounters even after their breakup. She also supposedly continued to see him on the low. According to 50 Cent, J.Lo was still involved with Diddy even after she got married to other men. When he began to get involved in Freakoffs, J.Lo was allegedly right there with him. The indictment documents that the federal government released show that the defendant had a persistent and pervasive pattern of behavior toward women and other people. This included manipulating women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of activity with male commercial workers at times. Combs and others acting at his direction made arrangements for women in commercial to fly to Combs' location. He also guaranteed the women's participation by, among other things, obtaining and distributing to them, controlling their careers, and using his financial support. It further stated that the defendant covered up and carried out his and commercial activities using the company's assets, including certain employees. These employees included security personnel, house staff, personal assistants, high-ranking supervisors, and other close associates. These individuals acted as Combs' intermediaries, and their actions were made possible by Combs' control over the company's assets. The federal government additionally disclosed that they had been observing purportedly freak-off events for years, and that numerous musicians have participated in these events. According to the document, Combs and other members of the Combs enterprise used their power and prestige to entice women into their orbit, often under the guise of a romantic relationship. Combs then used force and coercion to force the women to participate in lengthy acts with male commercial workers, which he refers to as Freakoffs. These episodes continued, sometimes lasting several days, and frequently involved multiple commercial workers. Combs also distributed a variety of controlled substances during these episodes, partly to keep the victims obedient and compliant. Occasionally, without the knowledge of the victims, Combs recorded videos of himself engaging in acts with commercial workers, which he then used to recover from the physical strain and use well. Now 50 Cent is asserting that J.Lo was purportedly present at the Freakoffs and even participated actively in the events. In addition, 50 Cent is asserting that J.Lo's Freakoff, if you understand what I mean, partners weren't always of legal age. An insider claims that 50 Cent not only knows all about this, but he also gave the police the information and gave them the video of J.Lo having freakouts with little guys. The documentary that 50 will eventually release will be amazing because, according to an insider, he has a lot of tea that he isn't afraid to spill. One thing about 50 is that he will always hate on Diddy until the end of time, and this time is no different. He may have missed his call, and as a CIA agent, he is going beyond just trolling Diddy on social media, because giving the footage to the feds will get Diddy and J.Lo in even more trouble. It's being reported that 50 Cent is providing information to his friends in Hollywood about the FBI's discovery of tapes showing Jennifer Lopez engaging in sexual relations with underage girls and boys at P. Diddy Freakoff parties. Additionally, Jay was found in several of the naughty tapes that the FBI confiscated during P. Diddy house raids. This is the reason Ben Affleck and Lopez are divorcing, as the FBI notified Affleck of the videos and potential future indictments. This helps to explain the rumors that J.Lo and Ben were spotted holding hands and kissing despite their divorce filing. It appears that Ben was trying to avoid becoming personally embroiled in this. You may recall the reports that stated that people in the know are flippant about Diddy and are trying to get deals done. Well, it appears that J.Lo.
My understanding is that there was a lot of individuals that were involved, and I think by looking at the indictment, seeing that only Sean Combs is the only defendant currently, who knows if that increases and it gets superseded with a different indictment. But currently there's only one defendant. My guess is that all of those individuals that could have been co-defendants or could have been co-conspirators or could have been involved in a RICO case have flipped on Sean Combs, and they're getting some sort of immunity.
Fans have been buzzing with speculation surrounding J.Lo's past relationship with Diddy, with many believing that her motives were more strategic than romantic. Some claim that J.Lo dated Diddy while fully aware that he was still involved with Kim Porter, suggesting she used the relationship to boost her career. This perception has led to a narrative where J.Lo's rise to fame is intertwined with her time with Diddy, and many fans have voiced their belief that she saw the relationship as a stepping stone. One fan even argued that J.Lo sold herself to Diddy for fame, using her connection to shame others, particularly J.O. The sentiment among these fans is that J.Lo's ambitions were always at the forefront, and that her relationship with Diddy was less about genuine connection and more about leveraging his influence in the music industry to catapult herself into stardom. For some, this strategy is viewed as shrewd, but others see it as calculated and self-serving. Another fan echoed this by stating that J.Lo's involvement with Diddy was purely to launch her career, and that her time with him directly contributed to her breaking into mainstream success. They suggested that J.Lo was fully aware of Diddy's reputation and the dynamics of his relationships, yet still pursued him because she recognized the potential benefits to her career. This fan went on to say that J.Lo's ability to navigate the celebrity world with precision is why she's managed to maintain her status for so long. However, this same fan accused her of narcissism, pointing out that J.Lo likely understood Diddy's personality and behavior patterns all along. They believe that J.Lo saw in Diddy the same traits shared by other people who were determined to be famous, and that she used that knowledge to her advantage. This theory paints a picture of J.Lo as someone who is extremely self-aware and willing to align herself with powerful figures to further her career, regardless of the personal costs. Critics have long pointed out that J.Lo has a history of associating with influential men at key moments in her career, whether it was Diddy during her early music career, Ben Affleck during her initial foray into acting, or Marc Anthony during her transition into the Latin music scene. Each relationship, according to some fans, has been less about love and more about how it could benefit her professionally. Diddy in particular was seen as a pivotal figure in her career, as their high-profile romance garnered significant media attention and introduced her to a broader audience. By aligning herself with him at that time, J.Lo was able to tap into his network, gain visibility in the hip-hop and R&B worlds, and establish herself as more than just an actress or dancer. But this view of J.Lo as someone who strategically maneuvers through relationships for fame and success has led to accusations of manipulation and opportunism. Fans who subscribe to this narrative argue that J.Lo is a master of public perception, using her relationships to construct an image that serves her career goals. To them, her relationships are not genuine, but rather carefully curated partnerships designed to elevate her status. Despite these claims, J.Lo has never publicly acknowledged any such motivations, and her relationships have often been presented in the media as real and heartfelt. However, the ongoing chatter among fans highlights the skepticism that exists around J.Lo's personal life, with some continuing to question whether her romantic choices are driven by genuine emotion or by her ambition to remain relevant in the entertainment industry. Regardless of the truth behind her motivations, J.Lo's career has undoubtedly benefited from the media attention surrounding her relationships, and she remains one of the most successful and enduring figures in pop culture. Whether or not she used Diddy or others to get to where she is, the fact remains that J.Lo has mastered the art of staying in the spotlight, something few others have managed to do for as long as she has. Many fans believe that Jennifer Lopez, also known as J.Lo, was willing to stop at nothing to achieve fame, and that her relationship with Diddy was a significant part of that strategy. Allegations that she pursued a romantic relationship with him, despite knowing about his ties to Kim Porter, have fueled speculation that her motivations were more about advancing her career than genuine love. Fans often point out how J.Lo was an emerging star at the time, and being linked to a powerful figure like Diddy, who was a music mogul and a dominant force in the entertainment industry, gave her the visibility and opportunities she needed to rise quickly. Some argue that while J.Lo may have gotten exactly what she wanted, fame and fortune, she's now paying a price for aligning herself with someone with a notorious reputation. They suggest that, despite her success, her legacy is tainted by the methods she allegedly used to get to the top. Critics of J.Lo's relationship with Diddy claim that her decision to associate with him was calculated and that she knew exactly what she was getting into. They view her actions as those of a highly ambitious person who was willing to overlook moral boundaries in pursuit of her goals. To some, this makes her a figure to be admired for her drive and determination, but to others, it raises questions about her integrity and the cost of her success. This narrative portrays J.Lo as someone who understood Diddy's influence and the doors that could open for her by being with him. She allegedly saw the potential benefits to her career and chose to overlook any personal or ethical dilemmas that might have arisen from the relationship. Now, years later, fans are reflecting on that time in her life, with some arguing that she achieved exactly what she set out to do. But the question remains, was it worth it? Those who defend J.Lo point out that the entertainment industry is notoriously difficult to navigate and that aligning oneself with powerful figures is not uncommon. They argue that J.Lo was simply playing the game, doing what she needed to do to get ahead in a competitive and cutthroat business. In their view, she was smart to leverage her relationship with Diddy and they believe she should be celebrated for her ability to rise to the top rather than criticized. On the other hand, those who criticize J.Lo's actions see her as someone who compromised her values for fame and success. They argue that while she may have achieved her dreams, she did so at the expense of her integrity. These critics suggest that J.Lo was aware of Diddy's reputation and his ongoing relationships but chose to engage with him anyway because of the professional benefits it offered her. For many fans, this raises deeper questions about the lengths to which some celebrities will go to maintain their status. Was J.Lo's relationship with Diddy purely a business move, or was there more to it? Did she knowingly pursue a path that involved moral compromises, or was she simply a young star caught up in a whirlwind of fame and opportunity? These are the questions that fans continue to debate, even years after the relationship ended. Regardless of where people stand on this issue, it's clear that J.Lo's career took off after her time with Diddy, and she has since become one of the most successful entertainers in the world. However, for some, her legacy will always be tied to the decisions she made early in her career and the way she navigated the complex dynamics of fame and power. As fans continue to discuss and analyze her past, J.Lo remains a polarizing figure, admired by some for her ambition and tenacity, but criticized by others for the choices she made to reach the top. So what do you think? Was J.Lo's relationship with Diddy a necessary step in her rise to fame, or did she cross a line in pursuit of success? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our next video for more updates on J.Lo and her journey through the entertainment industry.